What if I told you the biggest change you could make to your golf game might have nothing to do with your golf swing? And what if I told you that you've actually been learning the system throughout this entire series? Because over the last 5 videos, we've talked about 5 different ways to improve your golf. We've talked about the setup. We've talked about how to get off the tee. We've talked about what to do when you hit a bad shot. We've talked about the short game, and we've talked about putting. And at first, those might sound like 5 completely different things, but they're not. They're all pieces of the same thing. And that's what I want to show you today. Because I don't want you to finish this series with 5 more things to think about. I want you to understand how all of this fits together. Because if you can put these pieces together, I think you can completely change the way you approach around the golf. And here's the most important part. The goal isn't to play perfect golf. The goal is to build a game that can handle imperfect golf. And once you understand that, you can finally stop worrying about every single shot and just swing. The problem with how most of us learn golf, I think most of us learn golf backwards. We start with the golf swing. We see somebody hit a beautiful drive and think, that's what I need. So we go to the range, we hit the driver, we try to fix our slice, we watch YouTube videos, we buy clubs, we take lessons, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. But eventually you realize something. Golf isn't played on a driving range. You don't get to hit the same shot 20 times. You don't get to move your ball to a perfect lie. You don't get to hit another one when you don't like the first one. You get one shot. Then you have to deal with where that shot went. That's golf. And that's why I wanted this series to be about more than just your swing. Because hitting golf shots and playing golf are 2 completely different things. The previous videos have been building that distinction piece by piece. Piece 1, building a foundation that you can repeat. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. The first thing we talked about was your foundation. The grip, your setup, the ball position, alignment, your routine. And I know those things don't sound exciting, but they're incredibly important because if you set up differently every time, you're starting from a different place every time. And then when that ball goes somewhere you didn't expect, you don't know whether it was your swing, your setup, your alignment, or something else. That's why I don't want you chasing a perfect swing. I want you chasing a repeatable routine. Grip the club the same way. Stand the same way, aim the same way, create some consistency. You don't need 15 different setups. You need something you can repeat. That was the foundation of everything that comes after it. Part 2 is get off the tee and give yourself a chance. Now you've got your foundation. What's next? The tee shot, obviously. And this is where we talked about something that I think can immediately change your scores. Stop thinking the driver is automatically the right club. The goal of your tee shot isn't distance. It's not impressing your friends. It's not hitting the longest drive you've ever hit. It's simple. Advance the ball and keep it in play. I learned this myself. When I struggled with the driver, I started using irons off the tee because I knew I could keep them in play and my scores dropped. Why? Because once I got into that 150-yard range, I knew what I could do. I had a trusted shot. That's the fairway framework. What club gives you the highest percentage chance of success? That's more important than what club goes the farthest, because every ball you keep in play gives you another opportunity, and that's the beginning of the system. Give yourself another shot. Now, piece 3, knowing your distance. This connects to something we've talked about throughout this series and in other videos. Your distance trust gaps, your distance profiles. You might think you hit your 7-iron 160. Maybe your reliable is 145. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is pretending the 160-yard shot is your normal shot when it actually is just your best shot. Your clubs don't have one exact distance. They have a pattern, and you need to understand that pattern. Because once you know what you actually do, you can make better decisions. You can pick the right club. You can understand your misses. You can decide when to attack and when to play conservatively. And that leads us directly into the next piece of the system, because you're going to make a bad decision sometimes. And you're going to hit a bad shot. We all do. Piece 4, learn how to recover. This might be one of the most important things we talked about. You're going to hit bad shots, period. End of story. Your goal isn't to eliminate them. Your goal is to stop them from becoming disasters. You hit a drive into the trees. Now what? You can try the hero shot. Maybe there's a tiny opening. Maybe you think you can hit it through. Maybe you pull a club that you haven't hit in 3 months. That would be my 3-iron for me. And maybe you hit a tree. Now you've made the original mistake worse. Or you can stop, take a breath, look at where you actually are. Ask yourself, where is my ball? What's my highest percentage shot? What's the worst thing that could happen? And then don't do that. That's recovery golf. And that's a huge part of the system. because golf isn't about avoiding every mistake. It's about knowing what to do after the mistake. Part 5, your short game is your recovery system. Now, here's where the previous 2 pieces connect. You hit a bad drive, you recover, you hit your approach, maybe you miss the green. Now what? This is where the short game comes into play, and this is why I think beginners underestimate it. We love hitting the driver. We love watching the ball fly. Nobody says I can't wait to hit 30-yard pitches today. But golf doesn't care what's fun on the range. Golf cares what happens when you add up the scorecard. You will miss greens. You will hit bad approaches. You're going to end up around the green. And when you do, your short game is your recovery system. Your goal isn't to hit the perfect chip shot. Your goal is to make your next shot easier. Get it on the green. Get it rolling towards the hole. Give yourself a chance. Don't turn a manageable shot into another disaster. That's the system again. Make the next shot easier. And piece 6, finish the hole. Then we get to putting, because you can do everything else right and still waste a ton of strokes on the green. I've seen it all the time. You hit a great drive, good approach, miss the green, chip on, and then you 3-putt. All that good work is gone. It's out the door. That's why we talk about putting differently. It's not about making every putt. It's about distance control. It's about starting the ball on line. It's about making the short putts you should make, and most importantly, it's about making your next putt easier. A good putt doesn't have to go in. It needs to give itself a chance to leave you in a manageable position. That's the same philosophy we've talked about with short game. And that's not a coincidence, because all these pieces are connected. So what is the system? Let's stop for a second. What have we actually built? We've built a repeatable foundation. We've built a tee game designed to keep the ball in play. We've built an understanding of our real distances. We've learned how to recover from bad shots. We've built a short game that can save us. And we've learned how to finish the hole without giving away unnecessary strokes. That's the system. But there's one more piece. And honestly, it's probably the most important piece. The system only works if you trust it, because you can know all of this information and still play terrible golf. You can know your distances. You can know your setup. You can know exactly what club you're supposed to hit. And then you stand over the ball thinking about everything you've learned about golf. That's not going to help you. At some point, you have to trust the work. That's why practice matters. And this is something we've talked about too. Don't just go out and hit 50 drivers. Build a practice plan. If you need one, type free guide in the comments. We'll send you ours. Hit different clubs. Build your distance profiles. Practice your wedges. Practice your putting. Get comfortable with the clubs you actually need. The goal of practice isn't to collect more information. The goal is to build confidence and trust. Don't practice perfect golf. And this is where I would change how you practice. Don't just hit perfect shots. Practice what happens when things aren't perfect. Give yourself an awkward distance. Hit from a bad lie. Practice a recovery shot. Practice your short game. Practice different distances with the putter. Make decisions, because that's what golf actually asks you to do. You don't get to choose the perfect situation. You have to respond to the situation that you're given. That's why this system's different. We're not just training your swing. We're training you to play. You might have noticed we haven't really talked a lot about mechanics in this, because it's all up here. It's in your brain. The game you actually have, and this might be the biggest lesson for the entire series. Stop trying to play golf you think you're supposed to be playing. Play the golf you actually have. If you hit your driver 230, that's okay. If your 7 goes 145, that's okay. If you miss a green, that's okay. If you hit your drive into the rough, that's okay. If you make a bogey, that's okay. The goal isn't to eliminate every single mistake. The goal is to make fewer mistakes, recover better, make smarter decisions, and waste fewer strokes. That's what a better golfer actually does. And now you can stop thinking so much. And here's where the title of this video really comes together. Because when you look at the entire system, you realize something. The purpose of all of this isn't to give you more things to think about. It's to give you fewer things to worry about. You know your setup. You know your distances. You know your reliable clubs. You know what to do when you're in trouble. You know how to chip, and you know how to putt. You've practiced all of this. You've built some confidence. So when you get out onto the golf course, you don't need to think about all of that. Pick your target, pick your club, take your routine, and just swing. Stop trying to hit the perfect shot. This is where I want to come back to something we've said throughout this entire series. Stop trying to hit the perfect shot, the perfect drive, the perfect approach, the perfect chip, and the perfect putt. It doesn't exist. And if you're always chasing it, you'll always feel like you're failing. Instead, ask a different question. What's the best shot I can hit right now? Not the best shot I've ever hit. Not the shot that would make my friend say, wow, the shot I can hit right now. That's how you start playing golf instead of trying to prove something with every swing. One bad shot doesn't matter as much as you think. And you're going to need this because you're going to hit a bad shot. Pros do. You will, I will, everybody will. But now you have a system. You hit a bad drive. Recover. You hit a bad approach. Use your short game. You hit a bad chip. Give yourself a manageable putt. You miss that putt. Make the next one. That's golf. One shot after another, and suddenly that terrible drive isn't the end of your round. It's just one shot. That's a huge mental shift. The moment that golf starts to get fun, and this is where I think everything changes. You hit a bad shot, and instead of thinking, there goes the hole, you think, okay, I still have a chance. This is what we've been building. A game that can survive your mistakes. A game where you don't have to be perfect. A game where you have options. You have confidence. You can relax. And when you relax, you can actually enjoy playing. And that's when golf starts really getting fun again. The most important lesson. So if you've watched all 5 videos before this one, I want you to see the bigger picture. If you haven't watched them, go back. Watch them in order and you'll see what I'm talking about. Video 1 wasn't just about your grip and setup. It was about creating a foundation that you can repeat. Video 2 wasn't just about what club to hit off the tee. It was about making decisions that keep you in the game. Video 3 wasn't just about recovering from a bad shot. It was about learning that one mistake doesn't have to become 3. Video 4 wasn't just about chipping. It was about learning how to finish the hole when your full swing doesn't give you what you wanted. And video 5 wasn't just about putting. It was about eliminating those final unnecessary strokes and giving yourself a chance to finish. Put all of those together and you've built something much bigger. You've built a golf game, not a perfect golf game, a golf game that can handle imperfect golf. Now just swing. And that's where the final lesson comes in. Once you've built the system, you have to trust it. Because you can't play golf if you're constantly trying to control everything. At some point, you have to step up to the ball. Pick your target, commit to the shot, and swing. Just swing. If it's perfect, great. If it isn't, okay, you have a plan. Find it. Figure out your next shot and keep going. Because the goal was never to make golf perfect. The goal was to make golf playable and hopefully more enjoyable. So here's my challenge to you. Here's what I want you to do the next time you play. I don't want you to try to shoot your best score. I don't want you to try to fix your swing. I don't want you to try to hit your longest drive. I want you to use the system. Build your setup. Pick the club that gives you the best chance. Keep the ball in play. Know your distances. When you miss, recover. When you miss the green, use your short game. When you get on the green, control your distance and then let it go. Don't carry the last shot into the next one. Take a breath. Look at the ball that's actually in front of you. Ask, what's next? Then swing. Where are we going from here? And that brings us to the end of this series. 5 videos, 5 pieces of the game, but really one system. Build a repeatable foundation. Play smarter off the tee. Recover from bad shots. Build a short game you can trust. Finish the hole, and then trust all of it enough to actually play. Because that's the part I don't want you to miss. We're not trying to turn you into a professional golfer. We're not trying to make every drive perfect. We're not trying to make every approach perfect. We're not trying to make every putt. We're trying to become a better golfer. And a better golfer isn't someone who never makes a mistake. A better golfer makes better decisions, recovers better, wastes fewer strokes, and keeps playing when things don't go according to plan. That's what we've been building throughout this entire series. And if you take nothing else from all 5 videos, take this. You don't need a perfect swing. You don't need perfect shots. You need a game that can handle imperfect golf. And when you have that, you can stop worrying about golf so much. You can stop trying to fix everything. You can stop trying to chase the perfect shot. You can step up, take a breath, pick your target, and just swing, because that's when you start playing golf. And like I said, that's when golf starts getting a whole lot more fun. If you missed any of the first 5 videos, check them out. They'll take you through this system step by step, and the playlist is popping up now. And I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Which one of these 5 pieces has made the biggest difference in your golf game? Was it your setup, getting off the tee, recovering from bad shots, your short game, or putting? Or maybe it's the bigger lesson, that golf doesn't have to be perfect to be fun. Let me know. We're going to keep working on this together. Make sure to subscribe so that we can grow together. Remember, our goal in 2026 is simple. Play better, have more fun, and love the game again. See you next time.